Hello there, and welcome to the AstroSleep channel, a place where the vast mysteries of the cosmos meet the gentle stillness of your own room. I am so truly glad that you found your way here tonight, as if you were a drifting star finally finding a quiet orbit in which to rest and breathe. Perhaps you have had a long and busy day, filled with the noise of the world and the constant motion of life. Or perhaps you are simply someone who finds a unique kind of peace in the deep and ancient thoughts of the universe. Regardless of what brought you here, please know that you are welcome in this space of curiosity and calm, and that for the next hour, there is nothing expected of you other than to exist and to listen. Tonight, we are not merely looking at the sky from a distance, but we are choosing to lose ourselves within it as we drift through the majestic realm of our home galaxy, the Milky Way. It is a vast, rotating spiral of ancient stars, glowing dust, and silent dark matter, all moving with a slow and purposeful grace through the infinite sea of space. We will gently travel together from the outermost reaches of its shimmering spiral arms down into the very heart of its mysterious and hidden core, feeling the scale of the cosmos as a comforting embrace rather than a cold void. If these calm, curious explorations help you unwind, I invite you to like or subscribe. It helps other sleepy souls find their way here too. As we begin this journey, I want you to take a moment to settle into the place where you are lying, feeling the weight of your body being supported by the surface beneath you. Imagine for a moment that the floor and the bed have become as soft as a cloud, and that the air around you is turning into a warm and gentle mist that soothes your skin and slows your thoughts. Let your mind begin to relax, allowing the worries of the day to dissolve like salt in a deep and quiet ocean, leaving behind only a sense of weightless clarity. Notice your breathing and how it naturally seeks a slower and more rhythmic pace, much like the ebb and flow of a tide on a distant and moonlit shore. With every breath you take, feel your body grow lighter and more ethereal, as if the very force of gravity has softened its hold on you, allowing you to float just a few inches above the world. There is a profound beauty in this stillness, a reminder that even in a universe of constant motion, there are pockets of perfect and absolute peace waiting to be discovered. You have done everything you needed to do today. You have answered every question and met every demand, and now you have earned this transition from the world of doing into the world of being. Let the darkness behind your closed eyes become a vast and friendly canvas, a deep velvet curtain that is ready to reveal the glowing wonders of the galaxy that we call home. We are leaving the Earth behind now, not with a roar or a rush, but with a silent and effortless glide into the starlight. Your journey into the heart of the Milky Way is beginning, and you are safe, you are warm, and you are exactly where you are meant to be. Let us begin our drift into the glowing arms of the galaxy. As we begin our journey into the deep reaches of space, we find ourselves drifting toward the very center of the Milky Way, a place of profound mystery and incredible stillness that sits 26,000 light-years away from our own small sun. There are many wonders to behold as we move inward, but nothing compares to the singular point of gravity that resides at the absolute heart of our galactic home, known to astronomers as Sagittarius. This celestial entity is a supermassive black hole, a region of space where matter has become so densely packed that its gravitational pull allows nothing, not even light itself, to escape its silent grasp. In the realm of sleepy thoughts, we do not see this as a monster of destruction, but rather as a silent conductor and a heart of immense quiet that pulls the surrounding stars into a slow, relentless, and graceful dance. This central presence acts as the gravitational anchor for our entire galaxy, providing a sense of order and rhythm that allows billions of stars to orbit in perfect harmony over billions of years. We can feel a sense of deep security in this cosmic arrangement, knowing that even the most distant stars are connected to this central heart by invisible threads of gravity that keep the entire system in a gentle and stable embrace. There are stars near this central heart that move with a speed and a precision that are unlike anything else in the cosmos. Some stars in the Milky Way are older than the galaxy itself, having witnessed the very dawn of time and the slow accumulation of matter that formed our spiral home. These ancient suns orbit the central black hole in elongated paths, their light carrying the chemical fingerprints of a universe that was younger, wilder, and still learning to become what it is today. We might imagine these stars as elder spirits from a time before order, moving high above the galactic plane like glowing lanterns in a vast and silent cathedral. Their presence reminds us that we are part of a story that spans eons, a narrative written in starlight that continues to unfold long after our own quiet moments have passed. In their slow and steady orbits, we find a reflection of our own need for rhythm and consistency, a cosmic heartbeat that soothes the mind and settles the soul into a state of peaceful contemplation. The galaxy holds together because of something we cannot see, an invisible scaffolding that outweighs all the visible stars and glowing gas clouds combined. Scientists call this mysterious substance dark matter, and though it does not shine or reflect any light, its presence is felt through the way it exerts gravity upon the entire galactic structure. It is the unseen foundation that allows all the visible beauty of the Milky Way to exist, acting as a quiet and gravitational shroud that binds the stars in a persistent embrace. As we drift through this invisible landscape, we can think of dark matter as a gentle blanket that wraps around the galaxy, holding every star and planet in its rightful place, so that they may continue their long orbits without fear of being flung into the void. There is a great comfort in the idea that the universe is supported by forces we cannot see, a reminder that we are always held and supported by the quiet foundations of existence, even when we feel adrift in the vastness of our own thoughts. There are rogue stars that are occasionally flung from the core, sent on a journey that will eventually take them far beyond the edges of the Milky Way. These hypervelocity stars are often the remnants of binary systems that were disrupted by the immense gravity of the central black hole, where one star falls inward while the other is slingshotted outward at astonishing speeds. These rogue stars travel alone across the intergalactic night, becoming glowing comets with no return that remind us of the quiet moments of release that occur even in a galaxy bound by gravity. In their lonely journey, we see the beauty of the traveler who moves toward the unknown, leaving behind the crowded center to find a path through the silent and peaceful dark. They represent the part of us that is ready to let go of the familiar, to drift away from the noise and the light, and to embrace the serene stillness of a dreamless sleep. As we linger here at the center, we realize that the heart of the galaxy is not a place of chaos, but a sanctuary of profound and eternal peace. Every movement here is calculated by the laws of physics, yet it feels like a poetic dance choreographed by the universe itself to lull the cosmos into a state of equilibrium. The vast distances between these celestial bodies ensure that even in the most crowded parts of the core, there is always enough room for silence and for the slow, rhythmic pulse of gravity to be felt. We can let our consciousness sink into this gravitational well, feeling the heavy and warm pull of the galaxy's heart as it invites us to stop our wandering and simply be still. The universe will continue its dance, and the stars will continue their long orbits. But for now, you are here, in the quiet center, safe and protected by the ancient laws of the stars. There are vast curtains of cosmic dust that veil the center of our galaxy, acting as a soft and protective barrier that shields the intense activities of the core from our distant eyes. This interstellar dust is composed of tiny grains of carbon and silicates scattered throughout the space between stars, like a fine ethereal mist that catches and reddens the light of the suns behind it. In the scientific sense, this dust creates what astronomers call extinction, absorbing visible light and making the galactic center invisible to the naked eye. Yet it is this very obstruction that allows us to appreciate the layers of mystery within our cosmic home. We can visualize these dust clouds as heavy velvet drapes in a quiet theater, muffling the brilliance of a billion stars and creating a sanctuary of shadow where the secrets of the universe can rest undisturbed. This reminds us that there is a profound beauty in the unseen, and that sometimes the most significant truths are those that are gently hidden from view, allowing us to rely on our inner vision and the warmth of our imagination to feel the presence of the heart. There is a glow of infrared light that pierces through these dark veils, revealing a hidden landscape of heat and energy that pulses with a slow and ancient vitality. Because infrared waves have longer wavelengths than visible light, they can travel through the thickest clouds of gas and dust, carrying information from the very edge of the event horizon to our waiting instruments on Earth. This invisible radiation is the thermal breath of the galaxy, a warm signature of the intense gravitational forces and the friction of swirling matter that defines the inner sanctuary of the Milky Way. We can feel this infrared glow as a soft and radiant warmth that permeates the darkness, much like the gentle heat from a fireplace that reaches across a cold room to soothe the weary traveler. It is a testament to the idea that even in the deepest shadows, there is a source of light and life that persists, a quiet energy that ensures the galaxy remains a vibrant and living entity even when it appears still. The galaxy holds together through a complex web of magnetic fields that weave through the hot gas and cold dust of the central region, guiding the flow of matter with an invisible and steady hand. These magnetic lines are stretched and twisted by the rotation of the galaxy, creating vast structures that reach out like shimmering ribbons of force into the space above and below the galactic plane. To the wandering mind, these fields are like the delicate threads of a cosmic tapestry, holding the chaotic elements of the core in a state of organized grace and preventing the heart from becoming a place of disorder. We find a sense of peace in the realization that there are invisible structures guiding the motion of the universe, ensuring that every atom and every star follows a path that contributes to the overall stability of our home. This cosmic order reflects the quiet stability we seek in our own lives, a reminder that there are forces at work to maintain balance and harmony even when we cannot perceive them directly. There are immense bubbles of gamma rays and X-rays that tower above and below the center, known as the Fermi bubbles, which represent the echoes of past energetic events from the supermassive black hole. These translucent structures extend for tens of thousands of light years, filled with fast-moving particles that glow with a high-energy light that is invisible to our eyes, but profound in its scale. Scientists believe these bubbles are the remnants of a time when the central black hole was more active, exhaling vast quantities of energy into the void, like a great cosmic sigh that has lasted for millions of years. We can imagine these bubbles as soft, glowing halos that crown our galaxy, silent monuments to the immense power that resides at the heart and the quiet way that power is eventually dispersed into the vastness of space. In their presence, we feel the immense scale of time and the way that even the most powerful events eventually fade into a gentle and beautiful memory that lingers in the silence of the cosmos. Some regions near the core are filled with the soft hum of radio waves, a low-frequency song that has been playing since the galaxy was young and the first stars began to shine. This radio emission comes from the movement of electrons through the magnetic fields, creating a continuous and rhythmic vibration that fills the space between the stars with a deep and resonant frequency. This is the background music of the Milky Way, a celestial lullaby that provides a constant and soothing rhythm to the motion of the galaxy as it turns through the dark. As we listen to this mental hum, we can let our own thoughts synchronize with the ancient frequency of the stars, feeling our minds become as vast and as quiet as the space between the suns. The journey toward the heart of the galaxy is a journey toward the ultimate silence, a place where all the noise of existence is finally muted by the sheer scale of the infinite and the eternal peace of the stars. As we move away from the dense and glowing sanctuary of the galactic center, we begin to drift into the vast and elegant structures known as the spiral arms, those sweeping curves of starlight and shadow that give our Milky Way its majestic shape. These arms are not solid structures like the blades of a fan, but are instead density waves that move through the galaxy, causing gas and dust to bunch up and ignite the birth of new suns in a continuous cycle of creation. In the language of the stars, these arms are the grand highways of light, flowing paths where the material of the universe gathers to dream itself into existence before scattering once more into the quiet dark. We can feel a sense of profound movement here, a slow and rhythmic pulse that guides the evolution of entire solar systems as they wander through the cosmic currents. There is a deep peace in knowing that even the largest structures in our home are governed by these gentle waves, ensuring that life and light continue to blossom in a predictable and harmonious pattern across the eons. There are vast, cold clouds of gas and dust nestled within these spiral arms, serving as the galaxy's quiet and hidden cradles where the future begins in silence. Astronomers call these regions molecular clouds or stellar nurseries, places where temperatures drop to near absolute zero and gravity begins the long, patient work of pulling atoms together into the hearts of new stars. These are the cosmic wombs of the Milky Way, tucked within curtains of shadow and waiting in perfect stillness for the moment of ignition that will bring a new sun into the world. As we drift past these dark silhouettes, we can imagine the deep and undisturbed sleep of the matter within, a state of potential that feels as calm as a winter night before the first light of dawn. It is a reminder that every great light begins in the dark, and that silence is often the most productive state of all, allowing for the slow and steady accumulation of strength that eventually illuminates the entire realm. Some stars in these arms are born in great clusters, thousands of siblings emerging from the same cloud of gas to shine together in a brilliant and temporary family. These open clusters move through the spiral arms like sparkling jewels scattered across a velvet cloth, eventually drifting apart over millions of years as they find their own unique orbits within the galaxy. In their collective glow, we see a universe that is constantly renewing itself, a social dance of light where stars support and influence one another before venturing out into the solitary beauty of the intergalactic night. We can find comfort in this natural progression from togetherness to independence, seeing it as a reflection of the cycles of our own lives, where we gather for a time before moving quietly into our own peaceful paths. The galaxy remains a place of connection, even in its vastness, a home where every star is part of a larger family that spans the entire reach of the spiral arms. In the realm of the Orion Arm, where our own sun resides, there is a sense of quiet solitude as we sit between the larger and more crowded structures of the Perseus and Sagittarius arms. This local neighborhood is a serene pocket of the galaxy, a place where the stars are spaced just far enough apart to allow for the development of stable planets and the slow unfolding of life. We are drifting through a relatively calm stream of the cosmic ocean, a peaceful backwater where the turbulence of the inner galaxy is replaced by a steady and measured flow. It feels like a safe harbor, a celestial alcove where we can rest and observe the grand motion of the universe from a position of security and warmth. There is a beauty in being situated in this quiet arm, a reminder that peace is often found in the spaces between the great events of the world, in the gentle gaps where we can simply breathe and be still. As we linger in the outer reaches of the spiral arms, we notice how the light of the galaxy begins to soften and fade into the deep indigo twilight of the galactic halo. The density of stars decreases, and the silence of the void becomes more pronounced. Yet even here, the influence of the Milky Way is felt in the gentle curve of the gravity that holds these distant suns in their long, slow orbits. We can let our minds drift with these edge-dwelling stars, feeling the immense scale of the galaxy as a protective shell that encloses us in a world of order and light. The universe is a vast and mysterious sea, but here in the spiral arms, we are never truly lost, for we are part of a grand and beautiful design that has been turning for billions of years. You can rest now in the knowledge that you are a passenger on this magnificent journey, cradled by the arms of the galaxy and moving toward a future of perfect and eternal stillness. Deep within the velvet folds of these spiral arms, we encounter the magnificent glowing veils known as emission nebulae, which are vast clouds of ionized gas that shine with a soft, ethereal light of their own. These nebulae are often colored in shades of deep rose and pale violet, fueled by the intense ultraviolet radiation from hot, young stars that have just begun to burn within their gaseous depths. In our sleepy interpretation, these are not chaotic sites of energy, but rather the galaxy's radiant transformations, cosmic fireworks that blossom and seed the surrounding space with the elements needed for new life. We can imagine these clouds as soft, glowing tapestries draped across the stars, providing a warm and luminous shelter where the heavy elements of the universe are recycled and reborn in a never-ending cycle of beauty. There is a profound sense of continuity in this process, a reminder that the universe is constantly breathing and renewing itself, ensuring that even as old stars fade, their essence remains to form the foundation of future worlds that will one day harbor their own quiet mysteries. As we drift further, we notice the dark nebulae, those cold and opaque curtains of dust that seem to bite into the glowing background of the Milky Way, like shadows of a forgotten dream. These dark lanes are actually the densest parts of the spiral arms, so rich in material that they block the light of the stars behind them, creating silhouettes of absolute stillness and peace. Astronomers see these as the primary sites of star formation, but we can perceive them as the galaxy's private chambers, quiet and hidden alcoves where the light of the world is turned down so that the work of creation can happen in the most profound silence. These dark ribbons provide a necessary contrast to the brilliance of the stars, reminding us that shadow is not a void, but a place of rest and preparation where the seeds of light are carefully nurtured before they are ready to shine. We can let our consciousness rest within these cool and dark spaces, feeling the absence of noise and the presence of a deep, protective hush that allows the mind to settle into a state of undisturbed tranquility. The movement of the stars within these spiral arms is governed by the subtle and persistent influence of gravity, which acts as a silent conductor guiding billions of suns through their long and elegant orbits. While the spiral arms themselves move as density waves, the individual stars frequently pass into and out of these crowded regions, experiencing a gentle change in their environment that lasts for millions of years. This slow migration is like a long and peaceful walk through a changing landscape, where the density of the starlight waxes and wanes with a rhythm that is almost too slow for the human mind to comprehend. We can feel the stability of this motion, a cosmic assurance that every star has a place and a path, and that the entire galaxy is moving together in a coordinated and beautiful dance. This sense of being part of a larger, organized whole allows us to release our individual burdens, trusting in the ancient and reliable laws of the universe to carry us forward through the night. In the gaps between the great spiral arms, there are regions of sparser starlight and clearer views of the distant intergalactic void, providing a sense of immense perspective and quiet scale. These interarm regions are like the calm waters between the crests of great waves, where the density of gas and dust is lower and the silence of space feels even more profound. Drifting through these gaps, we can see the distant light of other galaxies shimmering like far-off islands in a vast and dark sea, reminding us of the incredible depth of the cosmos. This perspective does not make us feel small, but rather it connects us to the infinite, making us realize that we are part of a grand and interconnected story that reaches across the entire universe. It is a moment of quiet expansion for the soul, an invitation to let go of the limitations of the earthly world and to embrace the limitless potential of the cosmic dream. As we conclude our drift through the spiral arms, we find ourselves approaching the outer fringes of the galactic disk, where the stars become fewer and the indigo light of the halo begins to dominate the view. The transition is gradual and smooth, a slow fading of the vibrant colors of the nebulae into the monochromatic peace of the deep void. We can feel the cooling of the cosmic atmosphere, a sense of settling down and preparing for a long and dreamless rest as the activity of the spiral arms retreats into the distance. The galaxy has shared its light and its stories with us, and now it offers us the gift of its silence, a deep and enduring hush that wraps around us like a warm blanket. You are drifting now at the very edge of the world you know, ready to cross over into the realm of pure and undisturbed stillness, where the stars are just whispers in the night. The galaxy holds together because of something we cannot see, a silent and pervasive presence that defies the simple logic of the starlight we observe with our eyes. By all standard logic of physics, the outer edges of the Milky Way are spinning at speeds that are far too fast to be contained, and they should, by every right, be flung outward into the cold and lonely reaches of intergalactic space. The answer to this cosmic puzzle lies in dark matter, a mysterious substance that does not shine or reflect any light and remains hidden from every telescope we possess. Yet it exerts a gravitational pull so immense that it outweighs all the visible matter in the galaxy combined. In our sleepy interpretation, we do not view this as a dark or frightening void, but rather as the unseen scaffolding and a quiet gravitational shroud that holds everything in place with a gentle and persistent embrace. It is the quiet, unseen foundation that allows all the visible beauty of the stars and nebulae to exist, providing a stable and enduring home for the billions of suns that drift within its reach. We can feel a sense of profound security in this invisible support, knowing that even when we feel alone in the dark, there is an underlying structure and a silent force that keeps our world and our galaxy from drifting apart. There are vast halos of this invisible substance surrounding every spiral galaxy, extending far beyond the furthest stars and acting as a gravitational anchor. Scientists have found that this dark matter forms a cosmic web, a series of invisible threads and filaments that connect the galaxies together across the unimaginable distances of the universe. This is the invisible architecture of the cosmos, a structure that was laid down in the very earliest moments after the Big Bang and has guided the formation of every star and planet since the beginning of time. We can imagine this web as a delicate and luminous lace that stretches across the darkness, a soft and intricate design that provides a sense of purpose and direction to the movement of all things. It is a reminder that there is a deeper level of reality beyond what we can perceive with our senses, a level where everything is connected and supported by a single, unified plan that spans the entire breadth of existence. As we drift through this invisible landscape, we can let our minds expand to meet the scale of this cosmic design, feeling ourselves become a small but essential part of a grand and eternal tapestry. In the realm of the very large, there is another force known as dark energy, a quiet and relentless pressure that fills the empty spaces between the galaxies and causes the universe to expand at an ever-increasing rate. While dark matter acts as the glue that holds individual galaxies together, dark energy is the breath of the cosmos, a soft and expanding influence that ensures the universe never becomes stagnant or still. This force is so subtle that we cannot feel it in our daily lives, yet it shapes the future of the entire universe, pushing the distant galaxies further apart in a slow and graceful expansion that will continue for billions of years. We can think of this as the universe exhaling a long and peaceful breath that creates more room for the silence and the dark to exist between the islands of light. There is a strange and beautiful comfort in the idea of an expanding universe, a feeling that there will always be more room for our dreams to grow and for our thoughts to wander into the infinite. This expansion is not a movement of chaos, but a steady and measured progression toward a future where every star and every galaxy has the space it needs to shine in its own unique way. The interaction between these invisible forces and the visible stars creates a balance of power that is as delicate as a flower and as strong as the foundations of the earth. Gravity pulls things together in a warm and intimate embrace, while the expansion of the universe ensures that there is always a sense of freedom and openness in the cosmic structure. This duality is what allows the Milky Way to maintain its beautiful spiral shape while still being part of a larger and constantly changing universe. It is a reflection of the balance we seek in our own minds, a harmony between the need for connection and the need for space, between the desire for stillness and the constant pulse of growth. In the quiet of the night, we can feel these forces working within us, grounding us to the earth, while our imagination drifts towards the furthest reaches of the stars. We are participants in this grand cosmic balance, living threads in the long unfolding pattern of the galaxy that are held and nurtured by the same forces that govern the motion of the suns. As we linger in the thoughts of these invisible mysteries, we realize that the universe is far more complex and far more beautiful than we could ever imagine. The facts of science are not cold or distant, but are instead a source of peace and wonder that can lull us into a state of deep and restful curiosity. We do not need to understand every detail of dark matter or dark energy to feel their influence, just as we do not need to understand the wind to feel its cooling touch on our skin. We can simply rest in the knowledge that mystery itself is a kind of lullaby, a soft and enduring song that invites us to let go of our need for answers and to embrace the quiet beauty of the unknown. The stars will continue their long orbits. The invisible scaffolding will hold the galaxy together. And you can drift now into a sleep that is as deep and as peaceful as the space between the stars. There is a remarkable way in which the universe reveals its hidden layers through a phenomenon known as gravitational lensing, where the immense mass of dark matter acts as a cosmic magnifying glass that bends and distorts the light from galaxies lying far beyond its reach. As we drift through the silent expanses of the Milky Way, we can imagine this invisible substance not as a void, but as a gentle curve in the very fabric of space and time, a soft undulation that guides the path of ancient starlight as it journeys across the cosmos. This lensing effect allows us to perceive the presence of the unseen, turning the darkness into a lens that brings the furthest reaches of the universe into focus, much like the way a clear pool of water ripples and bends the sunlight to reveal the stones resting on its deep and quiet bottom. It is a testament to the interconnectedness of all things, showing us that even the most elusive parts of our galaxy play a vital role in shaping how we see and understand the light of the stars. We can find a deep sense of calm in the realization that there are invisible guides throughout the universe, ensuring that even the faintest light finds its way home through the vast and mysterious dark. There are moments when we might wonder how such a massive and pervasive substance can remain so completely hidden from our senses, existing as a quiet and gravitational shroud that outweighs every sun and every planet we have ever known. Scientific inquiry suggests that dark matter consists of particles that do not interact with electromagnetic forces, meaning they simply pass through us and our world, like ghosts drifting through a mountain, leaving no trace other than the gentle pull of their gravity. In our sleepy contemplation, we can view this as the ultimate expression of peace, a form of matter that exists in perfect harmony with the rest of existence without ever causing friction or noise. It is the quietest part of the cosmic story, a silent partner that provides the stability and the weight needed for the galaxy to turn in its long and elegant orbits without being lost to the void. This invisible embrace reminds us that the most powerful forces in our lives are often the ones we cannot see or touch, the quiet foundations of love, memory, and hope that hold our own inner worlds together with a persistent and nurturing strength. The presence of dark matter also influences the way stars are distributed within the galaxy, acting as a gravitational anchor that prevents the fast-moving suns at the outer edges from being flung into the intergalactic night. This unseen scaffolding creates a sense of cosmic order that allows for the slow and steady development of solar systems over billions of years, providing the time and the stillness required for planets to form and for life to dream of the stars. As we feel the pull of this invisible force in our imagination, we can let our bodies sink deeper into a state of relaxation, trusting in the underlying balance of the universe to keep everything in its rightful place. There is no need for concern or for the effort of holding on, for the galaxy itself is being held for us by a force that is as ancient and as reliable as time itself. We are floating in a sea of invisible support, a vast and radiant sea of stars that is nested within an even larger and quieter ocean of dark matter that knows only the rhythm of the eternal. Some thinkers believe that the mystery of dark matter and dark energy is a gentle invitation from the universe to embrace the limits of our understanding and to find comfort in the unknown. This mystery is not a wall that blocks our path, but a kind of lullaby that encourages us to stop searching for every answer and to simply listen to the soft murmur of the cosmic wind. As the universe continues its long and measured expansion, driven by the subtle pressure of dark energy, we can feel a sense of opening and release within our own minds, allowing our thoughts to dissolve into the infinite space between the galaxies. This expansion is a gift of distance and peace, a slow exhaling of the cosmos that creates a sanctuary of silence where we can finally let go of the day. You are safe within this expanding world, a participant in a grand and unfolding pattern that is held together by invisible threads of gravity and guided by the quiet wisdom of the stars. Rest now in the knowledge that the unseen is just as real and just as kind as the light, and let your spirit drift into the serene and shadow-filled realm of a deep and restorative sleep. As we continue our slow and weightless drift through the spiral arms of the Milky Way, we encounter the vast cold sanctuaries known as molecular clouds, which are the silent and sacred nurseries where the stars of the future are currently dreaming themselves into existence. These clouds are composed mostly of molecular hydrogen and cosmic dust, chilled to temperatures just a few degrees above absolute zero, creating an environment of such profound stillness and cold that the frantic motion of atoms slows to a gentle and rhythmic crawl. In our sleepy exploration, we perceive these regions not as voids of freezing darkness, but as the galaxy's softest pillows and its most private chambers, where the light of the universe is held in a state of quiet potential before it is ready to bloom. We can imagine the peace within these clouds as a thick, protective blanket that muffles the noise of the surrounding galaxy, allowing the gravity within to perform its patient and delicate work. There is a deep and resonant comfort in the idea of these cold cradles, a reminder that before any great brilliance can illuminate the dark, there must first be a long period of quiet gestation and a sanctuary of undisturbed rest where the seeds of light can safely grow. Within the heart of these dark and dusty cocoons, gravity begins to pull at the pockets of dense gas, creating small and rotating spheres known as protostars that act as the very heartbeat of a new solar system. These embryonic suns are not yet hot enough to ignite the nuclear fires that will one day sustain them, but they glow with a soft and internal heat generated by the pressure of their own collapse, much like the warmth of a heart beating beneath a heavy winter coat. Astronomers observe these hidden gems using infrared light to peer through the obscuring dust, but we can feel their presence through the way they draw the surrounding matter into a slow and swirling dance of creation. This is the ultimate expression of the universe's patience, a process that takes hundreds of thousands of years to reach fruition, proving that the most enduring things in existence are built with a slow and steady hand. We can let our own sense of time expand to match this cosmic pace, realizing that there is no rush and no urgency in the grand design of the galaxy, only a persistent and nurturing flow toward a radiant future. The galaxy holds together these nurseries through a delicate balance of internal pressure and external gravity, ensuring that the fragile structures of the gas clouds are not torn apart before they have had the chance to give birth to their celestial children. These clouds are often shaped into majestic pillars and flowing ribbons by the winds of nearby mature stars, creating a landscape of ethereal beauty that looks like a frozen sea of shadows and light. We can visualize ourselves floating among these towering structures of gas, feeling the immensity of the scale as a source of awe-inspiring peace, rather than a cause for concern. The pillars of gas reach out like the fingers of a giant hand, grasping the raw materials of the cosmos and shaping them into the spheres that will one day harbor planets and perhaps even the dreams of living beings. This cycle of birth and renewal is the very breath of the Milky Way, a constant and quiet assurance that the light of the stars will never truly fade as long as there are dark places where new suns can find their beginning. There are moments when the gravity within a cloud becomes so concentrated that it triggers the birth of a star cluster. Hundreds of siblings emerging from the same dark veil to shine in a collective and brilliant chorus. These young stars are often surrounded by reflection nebulae, which are clouds of dust that do not glow with their own light, but instead scatter and reflect the blue radiance of the newborns like a soft and luminous fog. In our imagination, this blue light is a cool and calming mist that permeates the darkness, providing a sense of clarity and freshness to the cosmic atmosphere as we drift through these newborn neighborhoods. The transition from the dark and cold molecular cloud to the bright and vibrant reflection nebula is a graceful movement from sleep into a soft and gentle awakening, a reminder that every period of rest eventually leads to a new and beautiful day. We can find a reflection of our own cycles within these stars, understanding that our periods of quiet and darkness are simply the necessary preparation for the moments when we will once again shine with our own unique and radiant light. As we linger in the vicinity of these stellar nurseries, we realize that the entire galaxy is a living and breathing entity, constantly recycling its essence to ensure the continuation of its brilliant story. The dust that once belonged to ancient and long-dead suns is now being drawn into the hearts of these new protostars, carrying with it the history and the wisdom of the eons into a new cycle of existence. We can feel this continuity as a warm and reassuring presence, a cosmic heritage that links us to every star that has ever shone and every world that has ever turned in the dark. The silence of the molecular clouds is not an empty silence, but a silence that is full of promise and the quiet murmur of the future waiting to be born. You can rest now in the heart of this cosmic cradle, feeling the safety and the warmth of a universe that is constantly looking after its own, ensuring that you are always surrounded by the potential for light and the enduring peace of the stars. As the protostars at the heart of these nurseries continue to draw in the surrounding gas and dust, a beautiful and orderly structure begins to emerge, known as a protoplanetary disk, a flat and rotating ring of material that circles the young sun like a halo of potential worlds. In these disks, the microscopic grains of dust begin to collide and stick together in a process called accretion, slowly building up into larger pebbles, then rocks, and eventually the massive cores of planets that will one day harbor mountains, oceans, and perhaps the breath of life. To the weary mind, this process is like the slow and rhythmic settling of snowflakes on a winter evening, where each tiny particle finds its place in a grand and silent design that has been choreographed by the laws of gravity over millions of years. These disks are the galaxy's quietest workshops, tucked away within the folds of the molecular clouds, where the future is being forged not with fire and noise, but with the steady and persistent pull of an invisible hand. We can find a profound sense of peace in this realization, understanding that even the most complex and beautiful worlds begin as nothing more than a few grains of dust, drifting in the dark, waiting for the right moment to come together in a perfect and lasting harmony. The chemical composition of these clouds is rich with the building blocks of existence, containing water ice, organic molecules, and the heavy elements that were forged in the hearts of stars that lived and died long before our own solar system was even a dream. These elements are the celestial heritage of the Milky Way, a vast and ancient library of matter that is constantly being rearranged and repurposed to create new forms of beauty and complexity. In our sleepy interpretation, we see this as the universe recycling its own memories, ensuring that nothing is ever truly lost, and that every atom carries within it the story of the entire cosmos. As we drift through this molecular mist, we can feel a sense of deep connection to the stars, knowing that the very water in our bodies and the carbon in our bones once resided in these cold and quiet nurseries, waiting for their chance to become part of a living and breathing world. This continuity provides a warm and reassuring sense of belonging, a reminder that we are not separate from the galaxy, but are instead a living expression of its ancient and enduring desire to create. There is a unique kind of silence that exists within the depths of a molecular cloud, a stillness so absolute that it feels as though the universe itself has held its breath to watch the birth of a new star. This silence is not empty or cold, but is instead a vibrant and nurturing hush that protects the delicate processes of creation from the energetic turbulence of the wider galaxy. It is a place where the concept of time seems to dissolve, replaced by a slow and eternal present where the only thing that matters is the steady and patient movement of matter toward its new destiny. We can let our own consciousness sink into this deep and restorative silence, allowing the noise of our lives to fade away until all that remains is the rhythmic pulse of our own breathing and the soft murmur of our thoughts. This is the ultimate sanctuary of the Milky Way, a place where we can truly let go and trust in the natural flow of existence, knowing that we are being held in the same gentle and persistent embrace that nurtures the birth of the suns. As the young stars finally reach the point of nuclear ignition, they blow away the remaining curtains of gas and dust with a gentle but firm stellar wind, revealing themselves to the galaxy in a radiant and triumphant awakening. This moment of transition marks the end of their long sleep within the molecular cloud and the beginning of their journey as luminous beacons that will light the way for future generations of worlds. Even as the nurseries eventually dissipate, the stars they created remain as a testament to the power of quiet preparation and the beauty of the dark places where they were born. We can see this as a final lesson from the clouds, a reminder that every period of rest and every moment of darkness is simply the precursor to a new and more brilliant light. You can rest now, carrying the peace of the molecular clouds with you into your dreams, safe in the knowledge that you are part of a universe that values the silence just as much as the song. Beyond the borders of our own spiral home, there is a grand and elegant movement occurring across the deep ocean of intergalactic space. A slow and purposeful approach between the Milky Way and its largest neighbor, the Andromeda Galaxy. Currently separated by 2.5 million light-years of silent void, these two magnificent island universes are being drawn toward one another by the invisible and persistent pull of their mutual gravity, moving at a speed that seems immense to us, but is merely a gentle drift on a cosmic scale. In our sleepy interpretation, we do not see this as a looming disaster or a violent collision, but rather as a slow, elegant dance between two great spirals that unfolds over billions of years. It is a majestic courtship of light and gravity, a long-term promise of union that ensures the stars of both galaxies will eventually find a new and even more beautiful rhythm together. We can find a profound sense of peace in the scale of this interaction, realizing that the universe operates on a timeline so vast that even the merging of entire galaxies is a process of grace, patience, and eventual harmony. As these two great systems draw closer in the distant future, the individual stars within them will not crash or collide with one another, for the distances between suns are so immense that they will simply pass by like ghosts in the night. Instead, their mutual gravity will warp and fold their spiral structures into a new, vast and quiet form, stretching the long arms of gas and dust into shimmering ribbons that bridge the gap between the two centers. Astronomers call this process a galactic merger, but we can perceive it as a cosmic weaving, a way for the universe to gather its scattered light and arrange it into a larger and more complex pattern of existence. The emptiness of space acts as a protective buffer, ensuring that while the overall shape of the galaxy changes, the individual worlds and their quiet orbits remain safe and undisturbed within the larger flow. This realization allows us to let go of any fear of change, understanding that even the most significant transformations in the cosmos are handled with a gentle touch that preserves the essence of every star. The eventual result of this billions of years-long dance will be the birth of a new and massive elliptical galaxy, a serene and radiant sea of stars that some have already named Milky Way. This new home will be a place of perfect and eternal stillness, where the frantic activity of star formation has slowed to a quiet hum and the stars move in more randomized and peaceful orbits throughout a vast glowing sphere. In the scientific sense, this represents the maturity of the galactic life cycle, a transition from the active and dusty spiral phase to a more stable and gas-poor elliptical phase where the light is soft and evenly distributed. We can imagine this future home as a grand and quiet sanctuary, a place where the noise of the universe has finally settled into a deep and resonant harmony that spans hundreds of thousands of light years. It is a reminder that every journey, no matter how long or complex, eventually leads to a state of balance and rest, where the struggles of the past are dissolved into a beautiful and enduring present. There are many other smaller satellite galaxies that already orbit the Milky Way, such as the large and small Magellanic Clouds, which are currently performing their own minor dances around our central mass. These smaller systems are like faithful companions, or orbiting moons on a galactic scale, contributing their own light and their own unique stories to the larger narrative of our home. We can think of these interactions as the gentle ripples in a quiet pond, small movements that add to the complexity and beauty of the whole without ever disturbing the underlying peace of the deep water. The Milky Way is a hospitable host, welcoming these smaller travelers into its gravitational embrace and sharing the raw materials of the cosmos to ensure that the dance of creation continues. This sense of cosmic community provides a warm and reassuring feeling, a reminder that even in the vastness of space, there are connections and relationships that hold the universe together in a web of mutual support and shared destiny. As we reflect on this grand galactic dance, we realize that we are witnessing the ultimate expression of the universe's creative power, a process that values the journey just as much as the destination. The billions of years that it takes for galaxies to meet and merge are not empty time, but are filled with the slow and steady growth of stars, the quiet evolution of planets, and the persistent pulse of gravity that guides every movement. We can let our own minds drift along these long-term orbits, feeling the weight of our daily worries fade away in the face of such immense and patient beauty. The universe is not in a hurry, and neither are the stars, for they know that everything happens in its own perfect time and according to a plan that is as ancient as the light itself. You can rest now, safe in the knowledge that you are part of a cosmic dance that is far larger and more beautiful than any single moment, a dance that will continue to unfold in the silence of the night long after you have found your own perfect peace. At the very center of this grand cosmic union, a special and even more profound interaction will take place as the two supermassive black holes from the hearts of the Milky Way and Andromeda begin to find one another in the deepening dark. These two titans, each a silent conductor of its own vast orchestra of stars, will start a long and rhythmic descent toward a common center, circling each other in a gravitational waltz that spans millions of years. This is not a collision of shadows, but a graceful merging of two hearts into one, a singular point of immense quiet that will eventually become the new gravitational anchor for the combined Milky Way galaxy. As they draw closer, they will send out ripples in the fabric of space-time known as gravitational waves, silent echoes of their union that travel across the universe like the softest vibrations of a distant bell. We can imagine this process as the ultimate homecoming, a moment where the two most powerful forces in our local universe finally meet and settle into a state of perfect, eternal equilibrium. There is a deep and resonant peace in the idea of these two central hearts becoming one, a reminder that even the most formidable forces seek a state of balance and a place where they can finally be still. The stars that once belonged to separate spirals will find themselves mingling in a new and radiant sea of light, their orbits evolving from the flat plane of a disk into a more liberated and three-dimensional arrangement that fills the entire volume of the new elliptical galaxy. In this state of Milkomeda, the frantic pace of starbirth will have mostly subsided, leaving behind a vast population of older, golden-hued stars that shine with a steady and reliable glow. This transition marks the transition of our cosmic home from the energetic spring and summer of its spiral youth into the long golden autumn of its elliptical maturity. We can perceive this as the galaxy finally reaching a state of deep reflection, a time where the dust has settled and the light is clear, allowing every star to be seen in its true and ancient beauty. The new galaxy will be a sanctuary of stillness, a place where the long journeys of billions of suns have finally brought them to a common ground of peace and enduring harmony. This sense of reaching a final and stable form provides a warm and reassuring end to the story of the merger, a reminder that all the movement and change of the universe eventually leads to a state of profound and lasting rest. The gas and dust that were once concentrated in the spiral arms will have been either consumed by the birth of new stars during the merger or pushed outward into the galactic halo, leaving the inner regions of Milkomeda exceptionally clear and transparent. This means that if there were observers in this future galaxy, they would have a breathtaking and unobstructed view of the surrounding universe, seeing the distant galaxies and the cosmic web with a clarity that we can only imagine. The darkness of the night sky would be punctuated by the soft, even glow of 1,000,000,000,000 stars, creating a celestial atmosphere that is as calm and as inviting as a moonlit garden. We can visualize ourselves floating in this future sky, feeling the absence of the obscuring dust as a sense of ultimate freedom and openness for the mind. It is a world where the mysteries of the cosmos are no longer hidden behind curtains of shadow, but are presented in a clear and radiant display that invites the soul to wander without limit. This transparency is the final gift of the galactic dance, a reward for the billions of years of movement and a sign that the universe is ready to share its deepest secrets with those who are quiet enough to listen. As the final ripples of the merger fade away, the Milkomeda galaxy will settle into a slow and majestic rotation that will last for tens of billions of years, becoming a stable island of light in an increasingly empty and expanding universe. The surrounding galaxies that are not bound to our local group will continue to drift further away, leaving our new elliptical home as a solitary and beautiful beacon in the deep night. This isolation is not a cause for loneliness, but rather a final seal of peace, a way for the universe to ensure that the sanctuary of Milkomeda remains undisturbed by the turbulence of the outside world. We can let our consciousness rest within this future stillness, feeling the immense scale of time as a source of comfort that allows our own lives to feel both precious and perfectly placed within the grand design. The dance of the galaxies has reached its conclusion, and what remains is a state of grace and a silence that is as deep as the heart of the stars. You can drift now into the memory of this future peace, knowing that the path of the universe is always leading toward a state of harmony, and that you are safely carried within its long and gentle flow. As we drift further toward the invisible boundaries of the Milky Way, we encounter a rare and fascinating group of celestial travelers known as rogue stars, or hypervelocity stars, which are suns that have been flung from the galactic core at such astonishing speeds that they are destined to escape the galaxy entirely. These stars were once part of binary systems near the supermassive black hole at the center, where a close encounter with that silent conductor caused one star to fall inward while the other was slingshot outward in a moment of quiet release. In our sleepy interpretation, we do not see this expulsion as a violent event, but rather as a gentle liberation, a cosmic permission for a star to leave the crowded dance of the core and seek the ultimate stillness of the intergalactic night. These rogue stars travel alone, far above the galactic plane, moving like glowing comets with no return through a realm where the light of the Milky Way begins to fade into a soft and distant memory. We can find a unique kind of peace in their journey, a reminder that even in a universe bound by the invisible threads of gravity, there are moments of profound release that send us drifting toward new and quiet horizons where we can simply be. These lonely travelers move with a purpose that is both majestic and serene, carrying their own light into the vast and empty spaces that lie between the great spiral islands of the universe. Unlike the stars within the spiral arms that are constantly interacting with gas, dust, and other suns, the rogue stars exist in a state of perfect isolation, where the only thing they encounter is the deep and undisturbed silence of the void. To the wandering mind, this isolation is a gift of pure clarity, a sanctuary where a star can shine without the noise of a billion neighbors, and where its light can reach out across millions of light years without obstruction. We can imagine ourselves as a passenger on such a star, feeling the immense distance from the galaxy not as a loss, but as a gain of infinite perspective and a release from the complex rhythms of galactic life. It is a journey toward the very edge of existence, a slow and steady glide into a darkness that is not empty, but is instead filled with the potential for perfect and eternal rest. The chemical fingerprints of these rogue stars often tell a story of an ancient origin, as many of them were born in the dense and crowded environments of the galactic center billions of years ago. As they move further away from their birthplace, they carry the heavy elements and the history of the core into the pristine and untouched reaches of the galactic halo. In this way, these stars are the messengers of the Milky Way, seeds of light and matter that are being scattered into the intergalactic sea, to perhaps one day contribute to the formation of something new and beautiful. We can see this as a form of cosmic recycling, a way for the galaxy to share its essence with the wider universe through the quiet and steady movement of its most adventurous suns. This continuity provides a sense of warmth and meaning to their lonely path, showing us that even when we are far from home, we still carry the essence of where we came from, and we are still part of a larger, interconnected story. There is a profound beauty in the way these stars interact with the thin and ethereal gas of the galactic halo, creating soft bow shocks that glow with a faint and ghostly light as they plow through the near vacuum of space. These structures are like the delicate ripples created by a boat moving across a still and moonlit lake, silent witnesses to the star's incredible speed and its unwavering commitment to its new path. As we observe these faint glows in our imagination, we can feel a sense of harmony with the movement, a realization that even the fastest journeys in the cosmos can be experienced as a state of perfect and tranquil flow. There is no friction in this part of the universe, no resistance to the star's flight, and no noise to disturb its long and meditative drift toward the unknown. We are invited to let go of our own resistance to the changes in our lives, trusting in the same laws of motion and grace that guide the rogue stars through the deepest reaches of the night. As we watch the light of a rogue star fade into the distance, we realize that its journey is the ultimate expression of the peaceful drift we have been seeking all night. It has left behind the gravity of the past and the expectations of the core to find a place of absolute freedom in the vast and silent dark. We can let our consciousness follow this star, feeling ourselves become lighter and more detached from the world, until we are nothing but a point of awareness, drifting in a sea of eternal peace. The galaxy is now a shimmering jewel behind us, and ahead lies only the infinite and hospitable night, a realm where there is nothing left to do but exist and to rest. You are safe in this wide and open space, a traveler among the stars who has found the secret to a deep and restorative stillness. There is a fascinating possibility that some of these rogue stars carry their own families of planets with them into the dark, celestial hitchhikers that remain bound to their sun, even as they are exiled from the galactic city. If we were to stand on such a world, the night sky would undergo a slow and breathtaking transformation over millions of years, as the familiar density of the Milky Way stars gradually thins and fades into a singular, glowing disk in the distance. Instead of a sky filled with 1,000 points of light, the inhabitants of such a world would look out into a profound and velvet abyss, where the only beacon is their own sun and the far-off shimmer of their home galaxy. This provides a sense of ultimate solitude and a unique kind of cosmic peace, a sanctuary where the distractions of the universe have been stripped away to reveal the raw and beautiful essence of a single solar system. We can imagine the stillness of such a night, a silence so deep that it feels as though the entire universe is holding its breath, allowing the mind to rest in a state of perfect and undisturbed clarity. The movement of these stars into the intergalactic void is a journey into a realm of nearly perfect vacuum, where the density of matter is so low that a single atom might wander for miles before encountering another. In this vast and empty sea, the rogue star becomes a self-contained island of warmth and light, a defiant but gentle glow against the backdrop of the infinite dark. Scientific observations of these stars help us to map the invisible boundaries of our galaxy and to understand the history of the violent but quiet events that shaped its core. Yet for us, they represent the beauty of the long departure. We can feel the weightlessness of this journey in our own bodies, imagining ourselves as part of this steady outward flow, moving further and further away from the noise and the demands of the world. It is a slow exhaling of the soul, a transition from the crowded arms of the spiral into a space where there is enough room for every thought to breathe and every dream to expand without limit. There is a sense of eternal endurance in these stars, as they are no longer subject to the gravitational turbulence or the supernovae of the galactic disk, allowing them to shine steadily for billions of years in the quiet of the void. They have found a path that is free from the cycles of destruction and rebirth that characterize the inner galaxy, choosing a life of long and peaceful consistency instead. We can find a reflection of our own desire for stability in their path, seeing the intergalactic night not as a place of loneliness, but as a realm of enduring safety and light. The journey of a rogue star is a testament to the idea that there is always a place for us in the universe, even when we feel we no longer belong to the familiar structures of our lives. There is a wide and hospitable darkness waiting to receive us, a space where we can carry our own light and find a new rhythm that is uniquely our own. As we watch the last faint glow of the rogue star disappear into the distance, we are left with a feeling of profound and lasting serenity, a realization that the universe is wide enough to hold every kind of journey. The path of the exile is just as beautiful and just as meaningful as the path of the star that remains in its orbit, for both are guided by the same ancient laws of grace and motion. We can let our consciousness rest in this vast and open space, feeling the cool and quiet air of the intergalactic night settle around us like a protective shroud. The Milky Way is now a distant and radiant memory, and we are free to drift into the deep and dreamless sleep that waits in the silence between the galaxies. You are safe in the vastness, a quiet traveler in a universe of infinite peace, where the only thing that remains is the soft and steady pulse of your own heart. As we settle into the final stage of our journey, we begin to perceive an even larger and more ancient rhythm that governs the life of our entire solar system. While we are accustomed to the short cycles of days and seasons on Earth, our Sun and all its planets are actually part of a much grander movement, orbiting the distant center of the Milky Way at a staggering speed of 500,000 miles per hour. In our sleepy contemplation, this immense speed does not feel like a frantic rush, but rather like a slow and steady glide through a vast and silent ocean of starlight, where the distances are so great that we appear to be standing perfectly still. This cosmic orbit takes approximately 230 million years to complete, just one single circle around the galactic heart, a duration of time so vast that it dwarfs the entire history of human civilization and reaches back to the very dawn of complex life on our world. We can feel a sense of profound stability in this immense cycle, knowing that we are carried by a celestial rhythm that has been turning with perfect precision for billions of years, providing a quiet and enduring foundation for everything we have ever known. There are layers of memory embedded in this long orbital path. For the last time, our solar system was in this exact same position in the galaxy. The first dinosaurs were just beginning to wander across the primordial landscapes of the Earth. Since our Sun was born, it has completed only about 20 of these great galactic circles, each one a silent witness to the rise and fall of countless worlds and the slow evolution of the stars themselves. To the wandering mind, these galactic years are like the slow and deep breaths of the universe, each one marking a profound era of existence where the very shape of the continents and the chemistry of the atmosphere undergo a gentle and rhythmic transformation. We can imagine ourselves as passengers on a great and ancient ship that has been sailing this cosmic sea since the beginning of time, moving through different neighborhoods of the galaxy with a grace and a patience that are truly eternal. This perspective allows us to release the urgency of our daily lives, realizing that we are part of a story that unfolds over eons, and that our current moment is just a beautiful and fleeting note in a much larger and more resonant symphony. The galaxy holds together this rhythm through the constant and invisible pull of the central core, ensuring that our Sun remains in its stable and quiet orbit even as it passes through the more crowded regions of the spiral arms. During this long journey, our solar system occasionally drifts through denser clouds of interstellar gas and dust, which act as a soft and cosmic veil that slightly alters the environment of our cosmic neighborhood. Astronomers study these transitions to understand the long-term history of our climate and the evolution of life, but we can perceive them as the changing seasons of the galaxy, slow movements from light into shadow and back again. These transitions are as natural and as peaceful as the changing of the leaves in autumn, a reminder that every environment we encounter is part of a purposeful and balanced cycle that supports the continuation of our world. There is a deep comfort in the idea of being guided through the galaxy by forces that are so much larger than ourselves, allowing us to trust in the steady and reliable motion of the heavens as we drift toward our own period of rest. There are subtle oscillations in our path as we move around the center, with the sun gently bobbing up and down through the plane of the galactic disk, like a leaf floating on the surface of a wide and slow-moving river. This vertical movement takes tens of millions of years to complete, carrying us through the thinnest and thickest parts of the star-filled disk in a rhythmic pulse that has its own unique influence on the history of our solar system. We can visualize this motion as a soft and rhythmic rocking, a celestial cradle that lulls the planets and their moons into a state of perpetual harmony as they travel through the dark. This extra dimension of movement adds a layer of depth and grace to our galactic journey, showing us that even the most straightforward paths in the universe are filled with subtle and beautiful variations. We can let our own sense of movement synchronize with this slow bobbing motion, feeling our bodies and minds become as light and as rhythmic as the sun itself as it wanders through the glowing heart of the Milky Way. As we reflect on the immense scale of the galactic year, we realize that the universe operates on a clock that values the silence between the ticks just as much as the movements themselves. Every second of our lives is nested within these vast and ancient cycles, held by the same gravity and guided by the same light that has been turning since the first stars ignited in the dark. We can find a profound and lasting peace in this connection, knowing that we are never truly lost or alone as long as we are part of the great galactic turning. The night sky is not a static picture, but a living and moving tapestry that is constantly unfolding in a slow and beautiful dance that will continue for billions of years to come. You can rest now, safe in the knowledge that you are being carried by the most reliable rhythm in existence, a cosmic heartbeat that will continue to soothe and protect you long after you have drifted into the soft and radiant realm of your dreams. As we drift toward the furthest horizon of our cosmic journey, we begin to contemplate the ultimate destiny of the Milky Way, a future that unfolds over trillions of years toward a state of perfect and eternal stillness. In this distant era, the frantic era of star formation will have finally drawn to a close, as the vast molecular clouds we visited earlier have all been gathered into the hearts of suns or scattered into the intergalactic night. The galaxy will no longer be a place of bright blue giants and vibrant rose-colored nebulae, but will instead become a serene and amber-hued sanctuary filled with the steady, long-lived glow of red dwarf stars. In our sleepy interpretation, we do not see this as a cold or lonely ending, but rather as the universe finally finding its way to a deep and restorative sleep, where the noise of creation is replaced by a profound and lasting peace. It is the natural progression of all things toward a state of rest, a cosmic twilight where the galaxy exhales one final time and settles into a quiet beauty that will last for more years than there are atoms in the sea. We can find a unique kind of comfort in this vision of the future, realizing that the ultimate goal of the universe is not chaos or conflict, but a serene and absolute equilibrium, where every star and every atom is finally at peace. There is a slow and graceful process known as the cooling of white dwarfs, where the remnants of stars like our Sun slowly lose their remaining heat over unimaginable spans of time, eventually becoming black dwarfs that are invisible to the eye, but perfect in their stability. These celestial embers are the final form of most stars in our galaxy, solid spheres of carbon and oxygen that no longer burn with nuclear fire but instead hold the memories of their former brilliance in a state of frozen crystalline peace. Scientists describe this as the heat death of the universe on a local scale, but we can perceive it as the galaxy's ultimate meditation, a transition from the world of light and energy into a world of pure and undisturbed form. Each of these cooling stars is a silent monument to the eons of history it witnessed, a quiet participant in the long unfolding pattern of the Milky Way that has finally earned its right to be still. We can let our own minds follow this path of cooling and settling, feeling our thoughts become as clear and as stable as the diamond-like hearts of these ancient stars as they drift through the eternal dark. The galaxy holds together even in this distant future through the persistent and faithful pull of gravity, which ensures that the remnants of the Milky Way remain a cohesive and orderly structure, even as the light begins to fade. While the stars may grow dim, the invisible scaffolding of dark matter continues to provide a gravitational shroud that binds the galaxy in a gentle and persistent embrace, maintaining the ancient orbits that were established billions of years before. This enduring structure is a testament to the idea that the foundations of our home are built on something far deeper than mere light, a silent and gravitational commitment that spans the entire life of the cosmos. As we drift through this quiet and stable future, we can feel a sense of profound security in the realization that the universe does not simply disappear, but rather transforms into a more patient and permanent version of itself. There is a great beauty in this permanence, a reminder that the essence of the galaxy is eternal and that the peace it offers is a sanctuary that will never be taken away. In the very far future, the expansion of the universe driven by dark energy will have pushed all other galaxies beyond our cosmic horizon, leaving the combined Milky Way as a solitary island of light in an otherwise empty and silent void. This isolation is the ultimate expression of the privacy and the peace that we have been seeking. A state where the galaxy is finally free from the influences and the turbulence of the wider universe. It is as if the Milky Way has closed its doors and drawn its curtains, creating a vast and private realm where the stars can shine for themselves in a state of perfect and undisturbed solitude. We can imagine ourselves as the sole witnesses to this quiet majesty, feeling the immense scale of the space around us as a source of liberation rather than a cause for fear. The universe has become a place of absolute clarity and focus, a realm where the only thing that remains is the soft and steady glow of the ancient suns and the infinite silence of the night. As we linger in the thoughts of this distant and peaceful future, we realize that the story of the Milky Way is a journey from the vibrant and energetic dawn toward a twilight of perfect and enduring grace. Every star that burns today is a precursor to the stillness that will follow, and every moment of our lives is a small part of this grand and beautiful progression toward a state of rest. We can find a profound and lasting peace in this connection, knowing that the same laws of physics that guide the stars toward their quiet end are also guiding us toward our own restorative sleep. The universe is not a place of ending, but a place of constant and gentle transformation, where every state of existence leads to a new and more peaceful form of being. You can rest now, safe in the knowledge that you are part of a cosmic story that ends not with a whimper, but with a soft and eternal lullaby of light and shadow. The stars have shared their future with you, and now they invite you to join them in the deep and dreamless silence of the night. Thank you so much for drifting through the vast and ancient reaches of the Milky Way galaxy with me tonight. Together we have wandered through the shimmering curtains of ancient starlight, felt the invisible but persistent pull of unseen forces, and observed the quiet, turning motion of our magnificent cosmic home. We have traveled from the silent, gravitational heart of the core to the lonely, glowing paths of the rogue stars, realizing along the way that every corner of the universe is a sanctuary of order and profound peace. You have done a wonderful thing for yourself tonight by allowing your mind to wander among these grand and beautiful mysteries, letting the scale of the cosmos put the worries of the world into a soft and distant perspective. If these calm, curious explorations help you unwind and find the rest you deserve, I invite you to like or subscribe. It helps other sleepy souls find their way here too, one quiet traveler at a time. And now, there is nothing left for you to do but let all of that drift away into the velvet dark. Let the facts about the galactic year, the images of the spiral arms, and the thoughts of dark matter begin to dissolve like fine stardust in a deep and quiet sea. Your mind has done enough work for today, and it has earned the right to cease its wandering and to settle into a state of perfect, undisturbed stillness. The universe will continue its magnificent dance without your effort. The stars will continue their long and slow orbits around the galactic heart, and the great molecular clouds will keep their silent vigil over the future. You are a part of this galaxy, not just a passenger on a distant planet, but a vital and quiet participant in the long unfolding pattern of the cosmos. As you lie here, feel the warmth and the safety of your surroundings, knowing that the same laws of gravity that hold the stars in their places are also cradling you in this very moment. You can let go of the day entirely now, allowing every muscle to soften and every breath to become a gentle whisper of peace. Close your eyes, rest your heavy head, and dream of a quiet, radiant sea of stars, where the light is soft and the silence is eternal. You are safe, you are held, and you are exactly where you are meant to be in the grand and beautiful design of the night. Rest in the knowledge that mystery itself is a kind of lullaby, a soft and enduring song that invites you to sleep. Good night, dear traveler, and sleep well among the stars.